Today, I'm going to show you guys how I set up my Starlink satellite dish. Hey guys, I'm JD, and I recently moved to more of a rural neighborhood, and broadband internet was just not cutting it for me. The cell towers were just a bit too far away for the speeds that I need for my work, and so I purchased the residential package from Starlink to set it up at home with the pivot mount to put it up on my roof. Now, full disclosure here, I've already set up my Starlink, and I'm not going to take it down for the purposes of this video, but I did learn some crucial things that aren't exactly listed in the instruction manual that I think could benefit your overall setup process and make things a little bit easier for you. So if you get something out of this how-to, we would really appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video and consider subscribing to the channel for a lot more how to do it all content. Without further ado though, let's get into things. So to start things out, let's go over what exactly you're going to need for this setup. And it's obviously going to include the Starlink kit, which includes the Starlink satellite dish with the kickstand, the Starlink cable, the AC cable, the power supply, and of course the Starlink router. On your end, you're also going to need a drill with a nice set of drill bits, a socket wrench, a marker to kind of mark your hole placements, and some roof sealant just in case things happen to go a little wrong. You know, I even recommend throwing down a towel, maybe even getting some knee and elbow pads just to make your setup a little bit more cozy and comfortable. If you have like a garden mat, that's also a pretty useful thing. In my opinion though, the most important thing for this setup is having a friend there to help you out. Unless you're the most handy person on the planet, which I am most certainly not, you want a friend there to make sure this process goes smoothly and safely. Once you've got all your ducks in a row, the next step is to prep some stuff out. So download the Starlink app to set up a new Starlink network. And once you do that, it's going to prompt you to set up the best possible reception for your satellite dish. This is going to involve you pointing your phone up at the sky and kind of moving it around. I was frankly looking like a complete idiot out here, twirling around like a ballerina in front of all my neighbors. I got some cat calls even. But this is basically how you're going to determine which area of the sky is going to be most suitable for your satellite dish. Basically what you're looking for is the area of the sky on your roof or wherever you're going to put the Starlink that has the least amount of obstructions. If you're living in an area with a lot of trees, you kind of don't want that. You want more of an open view of the sky. For reference, you want to do it until it's giving you all greens on the app. That's pretty much the sweet spot for this setup. Also, if you live in an area with some trees that are just sprouting that you think will eventually grow to obstruct some of your view of the sky or your reception, maybe take that into account as well. Now, once you've pinpointed the right location for the satellite dish on your roof, the next situation becomes how to connect the router that's inside to the satellite dish that is outside. And that proved to be the most challenging thing for our setup process. My fiance needed a hardwired Ethernet connection for her work. So we basically had to run this connection from the router that's located on her desk up through a hole in the ceiling in the corner of our house, through our attic, and out a pre-existing hole in the siding of our attic up to the satellite dish. If you have just like a dog door and you don't really care about the setup, you can kind of run it through a pre-existing hole like that. But if you want to make things a little bit more meticulous and clean, this is probably the route to go. Now that Starlink cable is fairly long. I believe it's just shy of 50 feet, around 15 meters approximately. That sounds like a lot of cable, but if you're doing some crazy run where you have to go through your attic like we did, it may prove to be a little short for you. Thankfully, Starlink does make these extension cables that are around 150 feet long, which you can purchase through Starlink or through even Amazon. But I strongly suggest doing a mock setup where everything is connected before the actual mount occurs, just so you can make sure that that standard cable is going to work for you. So now you've got the prep work done, you've got all your tools. The next step is to mount this sucker onto your roof. And so this is when you and your buddy gear up and get all your tools and pivot mount to the roof as safely as you possibly can. But before you do that, I highly recommend you find the stud in your roof right around the area you want to place this mount, just to make sure this mount is going to be as secure and firmly affixed to your roof as possible. I mean, this thing is going to be on your roof and you want it to withstand all the elements, including all the weather it might endure over the years. Getting this thing into studs is pretty much essential. So what you're going to do is place the mount with the arrow facing upward towards the roof. That's essential for this process. And make sure the holes in this mount are centered and aligned with the stud that you found. From there, you're going to take your marker and you're going to mark where these holes are going to go along that stud. Then you're going to take the mount off and then start using the drill bit to kind of make some holes in those studs. Now it should be immediately noticeable if you happen to get a stud. You're going to experience some resistance and some wood chips are going to come back out at you. If you don't get a stud, you're going to be like me and drill straight through your roof. the first go. And that sucks. Nobody wants a hole in their roof, but this is definitely where your roof sealant comes in handy. And I would even say definitely look into some multi-purpose putty that kind of hardens. That'll be really clutch as well if you happen to just drill a hole right into your roof. Now, once you've got those holes drilled into the stud, Starlink also supplies you with these adhesive strips that are basically meant to add some additional weatherproofing to your mount that you put under the mount, and you actually ball them up in certain cases to put them in those stud holes. I found these pretty clunky and awkward to use overall. They just don't really work the way you would expect them to, but we just put them in there for safekeeping. From there, you just put the mount back on the holes that you've drilled, start ratcheting in those screws with a socket wrench nice and tight, and boom, just like that, your mount is good to go. Then you just feed the cable up through the mast of the mount, you connect it to the dish, it'll click right in, and then you snap that dish onto the head of the mount, and voila, you've got yourself some nice satellite internet. All you got to do after that is just use the app to kind of configure the alignment of the dish and kind of get it all squared away. Overall, this Starlink setup was much more of a challenge than I originally thought it would be. Definitely was a learning curve, and the dish itself in our case is still slightly misaligned. Don't know how to really fix that, but the Starlink internet here works like a charm, and I would definitely recommend it to you if you're in a place where you struggle to get proper broadband internet. But that's going to do it for this how-to. Hopefully it sheds some light on how to properly set up this Starlink at home. If that's the case, leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to the channel for more, and leave a comment down below if you want to see a specific how-to on something. We're always open to new ideas here on how to do it all. But that's going to do it this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.